This entire season from has been frustratingly slow burning, but the show definitely redeemed itself with a banger 5th episode. From all the crazy revelations that came from Jade's hallucinogenic mushroom trip to Tabitha finally remembering something solid from her past life and using it to save Donna, this episode has been the best of the lot as of yet. Having said that, the ending still left us behind with quite the cliffhanger that once again raised a plethora of questions that undoubtedly outweighs the answers we received. But, I have a feeling that something big and chaotic is about to happen, and the showmakers wanted us to marinate in that anxiety until episode 6 comes out on May 31st. So without wasting another moment, let's have the theory wheel spinning as we discuss what could possibly happen in the next episode from Season 4.
Show me what I used to know!
Jade's newfound knowledge will indeed come at a cost. Now, since the very beginning, it has been established that in Fromville, every time you search for answers on how to escape the town and get close to it, something inside it pushes back in the horrifying ways possible. Jim's unfortunate murder at the hands of the man in yellow has been a solid example for it. So don't mind me if I sound a little worried about Jade. It's crazy to think that this man ran about the entire town in his head when in reality he was still sitting in Boyd's office and simply staring out the window for almost 10 hours. Honestly, Jade's trip down the memory lane across some of his lifetimes was paid off beautifully, because what do you mean that the ghosts of the men who had been haunting him ever since he, came to town were actually previous reincarnations of him, trying to drift him towards the truth all along? As his younger self guides him through the process, Jade follows the sound of the violin through the woods and reaches right outside the colony house. His younger version had already warned him that the answers Jade was seeking came wrapped in painful truths, and he also did not get to pick or choose his memories. Now, the painful truth is that in every lifetime, Jade has tried to save the town and escape the cycle by unraveling the important truths, but every time the attempt has been unsuccessful. As it turns out, Jade noticed that all his 5 previous reincarnations were actually murder. That too by the townspeople, because in every lifetime they could not handle the truth and ended up blaming Jade and Tabitha for it. Young Jade also claims that Tabitha's fate is worse than his, which means in every lifetime she gets killed by the smiley creature and later eaten by the man in yellow. But after Jade walks into the underground tunnels through the basement of Colony House, we see how the creatures get a hold of him and then bury him alive in a stone grave right beside the spot where the Ankui children were sacrificed. Right as the stone slab closes upon him, one of the ghoulish children stares at him from inside and screams, "Ankui." Next we know Jade finally snaps out of his mushroom trip and realizes he never left the room. The episode ends right after Jade claims to understand how to save the ghoulish children, which makes me wonder if he saw something after the creatures closed the stone slab on him. My guess is the ghoulish child inside his grave probably showed him how they were sacrificed and where their remains have been buried. If you remember, the spot where these kids were sacrificed had small cages built below, and I think that could be where their remains are hidden. Or maybe the stone slabs in which Jade had seen them laying down were actually their graves, which means their remains are inside. Either way, the only way to free them would be to free their remains from the ritualistic sacrifice that binds them. This means that in the next episode, we will see Jade and Boyd try to figure out exactly how to save these children. The preview for the next episode also shows how Boyd calls Jade insane for, wanting to go down the tunnels based on what he saw on a mushroom trip. We all know that there's no other way. If anyone can save the residents, it would be Jade and Tabitha. So, my guess is Boyd would be the one trying to keep the townspeople from killing them. Knowledge surely comes at a cost, but there's a reason why nobody in From clearly talks to one another or reveals anything. When the residents learn about the reincarnation reality of Jade and Tabitha, they will probably see them as the anchor to the town and probably believe that the only way to leave would be to kill them. Plus, Patty is coming back alive from the settlement with a half-burnt face and surely wants to know how Tabitha knew so much about the nightmare dolls and the scarecrows that could kill them. I doubt the truth will stay hidden for much longer. Also, something tells me the next 5 episodes of the season will descend into utter madness and chaos as the man in yellow uses each revelation to incite hatred and anger within the residents of the town. Someone is dying in the next episode. Most of us have theorized a lot of heartbreaking deaths that could happen this season. Initially, all the fingers were pointing at Kenny due to his growing proximity with Sophia, but ever since the last episode, the same fingers are pointing towards Donna sacrificing herself to save Ethan and Tabitha. Luckily, that did not come true, even if she did see her entire life pass in front of her eyes as the nightmare doll strangled her. However, I think this is a foreshadowing to a loss we are about to suffer in the future. I mean, even in the episode 6 preview, there is a scene with Victor standing right at the rooftop of Colony House and preparing to jump as everyone tries to stop it. When Boyd goes up to talk him down, Victor mentions how the man in yellow is back and it means the cycle could be repeating again. Even though Boyd insists him to remember, Victor doesn't want to. This scene is followed by Boyd frantically trying to resuscitate someone with CPR as Christy declares them dead and everyone watches in horror. Seeing all this, it could be possible that Sophia plays her next move by weaponizing Henry's grief. Victor revealing the buried knowledge of this town could cost Henry his life, as he was already spiraling after realizing that his wife was eaten by the horrifying entity running the town. So, if Henry really dies, that would be the final nail in the coffin for Victor, who has truly lost everything he had ever had in life. The only true home he has known are the horrors of Fromville, and after his father's death, Victor probably understood how there was no way out for him but to kill himself because his knowledge of the town could put people around him in jeopardy. But then, it could also be the man in yellow giving Victor an ultimatum to take his own life or he would seriously harm the one Victor loves. However, there are also many theories floating on the internet that state how it might be Ellis or Donna who ended up dying while trying to save Victor. Either way, any one of them dying would leave the town shaken to the very core, as they have been longtime residents pretty much holding Fromville together. If Ellis dies, it would absolutely shatter Boyd, and I am not sure how he would play savior after seeing his son die in his arms. And if Donna dies though, it would affect everyone in town, as she was pretty much the mama bear of Fromville who keeps everyone in check by calling people out left and right while also giving them the tough love whenever they need it. Whatever it may be, it seems like we are in for quite a heartbreak. Aosta, the Lonely Dragon. It has been a long time since Boyd left Aosta with a task to go through the archives and storage of the basement underneath. So, if you remember, Ethan once mentioned the cavern of the Lonely Dragon from the flight of the Chromonocle. Apparently, when the Chromonocle is lost in the rainbow sky, she discovers a cavern with a lonely dragon inside. This cavern was filled with piles of junk discarded by others, which the dragon kept as treasures because the map of the rainbow sky was hiding in the pile of unwanted things. It is the dragon who gives this map to the Chromonocle so she can find her way home. Now, every From enthusiast understands how no reference in this show is made in vain, so in this context, Aosta could be the Lonely Dragon, and because Boyd asked her to search through the unwanted things stored inside the basement to look for a viable clue that could help them leave, she will be the one helping Jade. Finding the ultimate clue to where the ghoulish children or their remains are hidden within the town. A map to these remains would essentially help them save these ghoulish kids and then stop the cycle or the loop. In the preview for the next episode, there's also a shot of Aosta in the back as Boyd and Jade walk into the tunnels through the basement door under Colony House. So, my guess is without Aosta, aka the Lonely Dragon we have not checked upon in so long, Jade, aka the Chromonocle, would not be able to find his rainbow sky. The Scarecrow dolls will become more important than you think. In a way, the weird Scarecrow dolls answered multiple questions from the past seasons. For starters, it gave us the details of the dream that Tabitha saw as a little girl. It also confirmed something that Sarah said in the first season, which is that all the bad things in Fromville are actually the fears or nightmares of the people who died before them. The man who threw Tabitha's dolls in the past because they were giving him nightmares came alive only after his death. Because there's still a third doll on the loose after Ellis burnt one and Tabitha killed another, I doubt the danger has died down. In the same context, it now makes sense why Fatima is making her golem. Episode 5 proved that the only way to ward off the nightmare dolls were the Scarecrow dolls that scare them away, so it makes sense that the golem would be a powerful version of the Scarecrow that would ward off any evil about to hit Colony House in the future. Now, because Jade is going to be walking down the tunnels through Colony House's basement, it's not a stretch stretch to think that he could give the creatures away inside the house. At that point in time, Fatima's golem could truly be a champion for the humans and make these creatures go away. Well, that brings us to the very end of this video. I really think Sophia is inches away from unleashing a full-blown chaos on the residents. We've already seen how she uses every predicament to spin a story and give people ideas by quoting the Bible, and even if it does not work with Christy, Marielle, or Kenny, one of these days, someone naive is gonna fall into this trap. I think Patty, the one who burned her face at the settlement, will be the one to eat up her diabolical Bible stories and unleash the chaos. At this point, discretion is truly the only thing that will keep the residents from turning into a rabid mob, and Sophia will do everything in her power to incite that hatred by poisoning people against Jade and Tabitha. But that's just my 2 cents. What do you guys think? Let us know about your thoughts and theories in the comment box below.